Have you ever just stood and looked at a really, really massive tree and thought, how? I mean, really, how does something so enormous even come to be? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible hidden life of a tree. We're going from its highest leaf all the way down to its deepest, most secret alliances. All right, let's get into it. It all kicks off with a really simple question, almost something a kid would ask. If trees get so unbelievably huge and they grow from the ground, then why isn't there a giant hole where they came from? It just doesn't add up, right? Where does all that stuff, all that mass actually come from? And believe me, we are talking about a lot of stuff. The biggest tree on the entire planet weighs in at nearly 2,000 tons. Now, to get a picture of that, imagine 10 blue whales stacked on top of each other. That's a tower of whales reaching 25 stories into the sky. That's how much this one tree weighs. Well, the answer to that paradox, to that missing hole in the ground, is that our whole basic assumption is, well, it's just wrong. See, trees don't really grow from the ground, not in the way we think anyway. Yeah, the soil provides some absolutely essential materials, but the vast, vast majority of a tree's actual body comes from somewhere else entirely. That's right, trees are built almost completely out of thin air. They are absolute masters at pulling carbon right out of the atmosphere and turning it into solid wood. But, and this is the really cool part, that's only half the story. The other half is happening in a hidden empire, right under our feet. So let's start up top, in the part of the tree we can actually see. Because this is where the magic of eating air begins, inside a massive, sun-powered factory. You know, the best way to think about a tree's crown isn't just as a bunch of branches and leaves. It's more like a sprawling, biological, industrial megalopolis. Seriously, it's this huge network of hundreds of thousands of twigs, all growing in slow motion, reaching for the sun, and holding up to 1 million individual little factories, which we call leaves. And every single one of those leaves is a little masterpiece of engineering. You've got this transparent skin on top to let sunlight pour through to the main factory floor, that chloroplast layer. Under that, there's a spongy layer so gases can move around. You've got a superhighway of veins moving materials back and forth. And then on the bottom, get this, hundreds of thousands of tiny little mouths called stomata that are constantly opening and closing, literally breathing. Now, through these little mouths, a tree does something incredible. An adult tree can pull up dozens of liters of water from its roots every single day, and it sweats out about 95% of it right through its leaves. This does two things. It cools down the leaf factories in the hot sun, and it creates a literal mist around the tree that can actually seed clouds and create rain. I mean, without this, the Amazon rainforest would just be a dry, dusty desert. So the really crucial thing is what happens with that leftover 5% of water. Inside the leaf, sunlight acts like a power source to literally rip water molecules apart. The oxygen? That gets tossed out as waste, lucky for us, and the leftover hydrogen gets forged together with carbon dioxide from the air to create glucose. A simple sugar. That sugar is both the tree's building block and its battery. It's everything. Okay, but building yourself out of thin air requires more than just sugar. You need some rare minerals, key nutrients, and a whole lot of water. For all of that, we have to go underground, to the tree's second invisible crown, the root system. All right, first things first, let's bust a huge myth. We all have this image in our heads of roots being a mirror image of the branches, just digging deep, deep into the earth. The reality? Totally different. Most of the water a tree needs comes from rainfall soaking into the topsoil. So about half of a tree's roots are packed into just the top 25 centimeters of soil, spreading out wide like a huge, dense mat. And these roots aren't just sitting there like passive straws. No way. They are active, incredibly sophisticated miners constantly navigating a complex underground world to find and literally extract the resources the tree needs to live. This is where you see how intelligent they really are. At the very tip of every single root is something called a root cap. It's a sensory hub. It has cells that can sense gravity, so it always knows which way is down. It's got detectors for moisture, for different chemicals. It can even sense the tiny vibrations of flowing water. All of this data gets fed into a tiny command center that decides where to grow next. A single tree has hundreds of thousands of these little command centers. And this sensory toolkit allows for an absolutely incredible process. When a root finds nutrients, but they're locked away inside solid rock, it doesn't just give up. It finds the tiniest, finest crack, forces its way in, and then fills itself with water, swelling up like a tiny hydraulic jack to physically break the rock apart.
Then it releases acids to dissolve the minerals and sends out these special claw-like molecules to literally grab the nutrients it needs. This is all unbelievably sophisticated, but even with all of this amazing technology, a tree can't do it all on its own. To really, truly succeed, it has to form an alliance. And these allies, well, they've been working with trees for over 400 million years. They're from an entirely different kingdom of life, hidden away in the soil, and they form these vast, unbelievable networks that connect the entire forest. So who are these allies? They're fungi, and they have a trade deal with trees that's ancient. Here's how it works. The tree, with its amazing factories in the sky, makes way more sugar than it needs. So it trades that extra, energy-rich sugar to the fungal network. In return, the fungi, which are way smaller and can get into places the roots can't, they go exploring and bring back crucial water and nutrients for the tree. It's a perfect partnership.
And the scale of this partnership, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. In a healthy forest, for every single kilometer of tree root, there can be hundreds of kilometers of that interconnected fungal network weaving its way through the soil. It is one of the biggest and most complex living structures on our planet.
So what you and I see as a single tree, it's not. It's actually a two-part superorganism. You've got the sky-high factory eating thin hair, and you've got the underground mining empire with its thousands of command centers. And it's all deeply connected to this massive fungal network that might just link the whole forest together.
It completely changes how you see things, doesn't it? It just makes you wonder, if all of that is happening inside and underneath just one tree, what other incredible secrets and conversations is an entire forest holding? Right there under our feet.